We have land and water across our tropical north that can be more productive. We're investing in technology. We have management skills. We have enthusiasm. What we lack is development capital, and dare I say it, we're also lacking in enabling policies and a level of community support necessary to encourage entrepreneurial risk-taking. So what's happening out there? What are the mega trends? The increasing population and economic growth of countries within our Asia-Pacific region are driving increased demand for food and creating competition for natural resources, in particular, scarce arable land and fresh water. Governments are being challenged like never before to make the right political choices for their communities and for the environment. By 2050, there'll be significant population growth in the Asia-Pacific region and elsewhere, and a demographic shift with an additional 600 million middle-income earners. Not only will there be more mouths to feed, but there'll also be a shift in the nature of food and fibre demand as a result of this economic growth. So where does the extra food come from, and the different foods? There's no simple answer. Better food supply logistics and a reduction of food waste will go part of the way to meeting food shortages, as will improved farm productivity. The projected shift in middle-income food demand is more complex. I'll come back to this. Both trends represent opportunities and also challenges for world and Australian agriculture. I'll concentrate tonight on what Australia has to offer. Australia can improve its productivity, and we can develop more land, particularly in the tropical north. However, we should not aspire to be the food bowl for Asia. The future of our farm sector is not in the production of bulk commodities competing in a world market against countries that have a lower cost base. Nor is it pitching product in competition with local smallholder capacity that can be improved with better support and new technologies. I believe we have two immediate priorities. We need to increase our focus on industry systems and research to give our farmers the tools they need to be world efficient and sustainable. At the same time, we need to share these tools. We need to focus on areas of mutual benefit with our neighbours to offer road-tested Australian technologies, and for these to be adapted to suit the needs of agriculture within the region. At the same time, we should embrace technologies from the region, modified for use by Australian farmers. ACR is one of the lead agencies in these regional partnerships, and the displays around the walls upstairs detail some of the partnership's success stories. Australian agriculture, for its part, needs also to focus on the production of differentiated food and fibre to supply an increasingly aware home market and the expanding segment of middle-income Asia. These consumers are seeking a choice of safe and reliable, high-quality products, and they can afford to pay for it. So where have we come from? Australian farmers have, by necessity, developed a high level of resilience. They've prospered and they've suffered hardships resulting from seasonal variability, lack of market access, and other external disruptions. Throughout all of this, they've continued to adapt to changing in political and economic circumstances, but will never arrive at a comfortable destination. Change will be a continuum, and it's never easy. Perhaps the greatest change that's happening right now is the shift from producing what we like producing to what our customers want. A shift from supply push to demand pull. As I said previously, world population is growing and there are more mouths to feed. Our real opportunity is in the economic growth within our region, with fractionated markets that are creating demand for differentiated quality products. Australian agriculture is well placed to supply these, but we need to earn our right to play in this very ever-changing environment. We'll need to work with government at all levels to create the right balance between enabling policy and regulation. To operate efficiently, we need a consistent framework across market access, biosecurity, infrastructure, workplace relations, foreign investment and research support, to name a few. We also need to generate the respect and trust of our largely urban society, who take food security and food quality for granted. And we'll need the support of a government who really only have a passing interest in what we do. We need to tell our stories. I was in Uruguay some years ago with the Cairns Group trade talks. We were addressed by the President of Uruguay. He spoke of Uruguay's agricultural achievements, and he concluded his address by saying, "There is no profession more noble for mankind than the production of food." Powerful stuff from a head of state. We claim that our farmers are world champions. Currently, our 85,000 farm businesses occupy about half of our island landmass, and we have responsibility for delivery of environmental outcomes over this vast estate. We export 75% of farm production, we feed 50 to 60 million people, and we clothe some 500 million. By world standards, our farmers are efficient, with negligible direct government support at 1.4% of gross farm receipts. This compares with the US at 9%, EU at 19%, China at 21%, Japan and Korea at 43 and 48%, and some of those Northern European countries which are out in the stratosphere. In my view, there are two things we need to do in agricultural Australia. We need to maintain a laser-like focus on the needs of our customers. And I say customers, not countries. Focus on customers. And we need to tell our stories within our communities and speak to government with clarity and with one voice. As an industry, Australian agriculture has evolved from a fair average quality mindset. We have adversarial supply chains producing bulk commodities. We need to position ourselves at the high quality value end of new and emerging markets. To do this, we need short, transparent supply chains with through chain accountability to our customers, backed by credible verification and traceback. This is the future for Australian agriculture. Secondly, and let me conclude on this, agriculture in Australia must speak with one voice. Everything we do will at some time come under scrutiny, be it from government itself, from animal activists, from environmentalists, and those with divergent views on GMOs and the causal factors of climate change. We need to tell our stories, and through this, we can develop a level of insurance. There can be no better insurance than community trust and a widely held belief that farming is important, our farmers are doing a good job, and importantly, they're doing the right thing. Parallel to this, we need coherent messaging to all tiers of government and the development and advocacy for sound policy settings. Policy settings that underpin the ethics and the integrity of our farming systems, that reduce the complexity and cost of compliance, and that empower farmers to get on with the job. In closing, I'm not a Malthusian. The world will continue to produce enough to feed and clothe our world family, provided we reduce waste, create free movement of food from areas of surplus to areas of need. We'll also need to continue to improve and share our technologies. And in this vein, can I congratulate the organisers and sponsors of this TropAg2017. This conference is bringing together our farm innovators in an important regional exchange in tropical agriculture. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, David.